With the NFL trade deadline approaching on November 5th, and there have already been some big moves around the league, including an offensive lineman trade in Cam Robinson from the Jacksonville Jaguars to NFC North rival, the Minnesota Vikings, there is thought now that the league is actually willing to trade good offensive linemen to other teams at the deadline. And there is a guy on the Miami Dolphins who sit at 2-5 and aren't looking good. That is a top 5 center that could come to the Chicago Bears, and that is Aaron Brewer. I want the Bears to be aggressive and go out and get him, and I have 2 different trade scenarios that he could come to Chicago, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Now, before we get into today's show, hit that like button if you want the Bears to go out and attempt to get Aaron Brewer a top 5 center, along with commenting below which of the 2 trades you would do for Brewer that I'm going to propose, or a trade that you would do yourself. And are you a Bears fan and like free Bears news and notifications? Hit that subscribe button to stay up to date in all Chicago Bears news. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about Aaron Brewer, a guy that I think is beyond overlooked in this league, and I think he's a fantastic player. Standing at 6'1", 295 pounds, he might seem like he's on the smaller side for a center, but he plays a lot bigger than he is. At 27 years old from Texas State, he's got 2.5 years left on his 3-year contract that he signed with the Dolphins this past offseason, and it's not too expensive. After this year, he's only owed 2 years, $14 million. Put into perspective, we paid Nate Davis almost that entirely this year. One of the biggest steals of the offseason for the in the NFL this year, the Dolphins got it right. And even though the Dolphins have a good team on roster, they're just falling apart at 2-5. And I think that they could be really considering dealting him to start getting some picks, clear up some cap, and start a rebuild in Miami. Going through his stats so far this year, it truly shows why he is one of the top centers in the league. And according to PFF, through 8 games, an 80.4 overall grade, along with a 75.5 pass block grade, a 78.6 run block grade, only allowing 1 penalty, 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits, and only 3 quarterback pressures and 481 snaps. Could you imagine if you had that all year for Caleb Williams and also building a relationship with the guy that could be your center for the next 3 years? Would have been absolutely fantastic. And this guy absolutely shows grit. He shows that he's a solid player, and his scouting report speaks to it too, because he does everything that you need according to scouts. He pushes the pile up the middle on short down gains. All those third downs that we could have had, or 4th and 1s, or even the Doug Kramer situation that we're not going to talk about anymore, he could have been a huge asset there. He's super strong. He has great leverage and pushes the pile every single time. He's also fantastic against the blitz, especially picking up linebackers. He's able to call it out. He's good at reading the field, talking to his quarterback. And also on top of that too, he's so strong and he's much lankier than you think for being 6'1". He's able to pick up pretty much anybody. He has a strong ability and coordination on upfield runs as well, which is huge for DeAndre Swift and company if he were to split it to the outside. And he's able to take out multiple defenders and not just one. And he's never not hitting someone. Do you remember Bill Murray against the Carolina Panthers at home a few weeks ago? And we saw him just looking around, who can I hit? That is exactly what this guy does every single time. He would raise the energy, he would raise the standard, and he's just fired up all the time. Not a lot of cap hit either, which is what I like about this guy. I mean, $7 million is not too bad. And he's one of the quiet successors in the NFL. I think he's a humble guy. He's on a bad Dolphins team, and the Dolphins might want to start rebuilding. So why not bring him in now and get some at least picks for him and maybe even a player, which I'll break down in my trade in a minute. It's football season. It's time for tailgates, touchdowns, and Sunday cookouts with the crew. And don't be the smelly one out of everybody at the party. Enhance your game with Mando. Clinically proven for 72-hour odor control, so it's perfect for long days at the game or at the bar. Safe for the whole body, your pits, your package, your feet, everywhere in between. Yes, even those tailgate sprints to the bathroom can definitely help you out. Stop odor before it starts. Available in 3 different formats: invisible spray, solid stick, and invisible cream. And for new customers that are watching Just Another Year, get $5 off your starter pack with our exclusive code JAYCHI. Go to the link in the description now and use code JAYCHI to get $5 off. So let's break down some trades, shall we? So trade number 1, I just want to get into it for you guys. For Aaron Brewer, the Chicago Bears will receive him, and they will send the Dolphins a 25 4th and center Coleman Shelton. They strengthened their offensive line in Chicago with a versatile player in Brewer who can also help protect our quarterback and improve the long run game for a long time. For the Dolphins, they gain a draft pick back, they get rid of the cap, and they still get a veteran in Coleman Shelton for the rest of the year. And he's only on a one-year contract, so if they don't want to re-sign him, let's say he gets a big surge in Miami and does well, they can re-sign him, or if they don't want to, they can let him go. It helps Miami clear their books for the next couple of years and help Chicago out as well. The second trade that I'm going to get into today with Aaron Brewer is that the Bears still get Aaron Brewer. They send a 25-4 again, but then they send them also running back Khalil Herbert. For the Bears, this bolsters their offensive line with Brewer still addressing a key need, and they're parting with Khalil Herbert, who they're not even using. He's shown promise, obviously, over the last couple of years, but he may be able to get a better opportunity in Miami, sign a contract with them, and give him the respect and opportunity that Chicago deserves to give him. For the Dolphins, they get a very talented running back in Khalil Herbert to, help their offensive scheme. Maybe, him and Shelton know each other. Who things could work out, Miami could start winning games. I'm not saying Aaron Brewer is the reason why they're losing games. He's helping keep them in it, but it helps Chicago and it helps out Miami. And a few more reasons why it makes sense for the Bears to make this trade. Well, Coleman Shelton hasn't been the greatest this year for Chicago. A 66.6 overall grade, 62.5 pass block, and 67.7 run block, with 1 penalty, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits, and 9 quarterback pressures, and even more snaps than Brewer. Clearly, Brewer is better of the two, would be a huge upgrade over Shelton. And we get this guy for another 2.5 years. Brewer has also been one of the best centers in the NFL, looking at his PFF rankings, ranked 6 overall among centers, 6 in pass block, 8th in run block, tied for 4th with least amount of penalties, 1st in sacks, 1st in quarterback hits, least and from a least perspective, 4th least amount of pressures allowed, and 10th most snaps out of centers. So he's still young, 27, 2 years left, no signs of showing down, can start getting to become Caleb's go-to guy, and we only owe him $14 million over the next couple of years. That's a big win in Chicago's book, in my personal opinion. And before we close out today's show, I would like to thank our good friend Dan Richmond for bringing us Fantasy on the Fly.
Hello and welcome to Fantasy on the Fly. Bears Cardinals this weekend. A guy for the Bears who I really, really think is playing some outstanding football is DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift has been the most consistent performer from a fantasy perspective for the Bears the last 4 weeks. Swift averaging 70 yards on the ground and a touchdown. I think DeAndre Swift will have a big week against the Arizona Cardinals. Another guy who I think will rebound, and I mean rebound in a big way this week, is Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. Prescott, a top fantasy quarterback last year, has been anything but top of the charts this year. I like him a lot against the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons have given up almost 3 times as many touchdowns in the air as they have on the ground. I think Dak Prescott will rebound this week, and this is Fantasy on the Fly.
But bear down, baby. Happy Friday. Hopefully the Bears get aggressive with the trades, and I'm hoping to see something soon. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. But with that, thank you as always for tuning in this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Rhodey, and as always, bear down, baby.